So here's something super interesting. Now, I talked about the FBI investigation that is now underway into the Brett Kavanaugh situation. It's a reopening of the FBI's background checks that they do of all Supreme Court justice nominees. It's not a criminal investigation. But here's something super interesting. So Bernie Sanders has called for the FBI to investigate whether or not Kavanaugh told the truth in the hearing. Now, what is he talking about here? Well, it's because I did a video showcasing the two people who were, and I think there were more too, who were Yale classmates of his and knew him, and they both said that he was an extreme drinker. He was a very heavy drinker. He didn't have a weak stomach, and that he's somebody who was a sloppy drunk and just drank to massive excess because Brett Kavanaugh tried making it seem as if he had a beer every once in a while, just like the guys do. But the truth is that he would get insanely drunk, smacked up drunk. And one of the women, by the way, Lynn Brooks, she's a Republican conservative, so there's no reason or motive or random conspiratorial Democratic motive that she has to call out Brett Kavanaugh. This is the truth. Um, Here's what the Hill says. They say Senator Bernie Sanders on Saturday sent a letter to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley demanding that the FBI, in addition to investigating sexual assault allegations against Supreme Court Justice nominee Brett Kavanaugh, also examine the truthfulness of Kavanaugh's statements made under oath Thursday before the Senate panel. Quote, in order for the FBI investigation regarding Judge Brett Kavanaugh's nomination to be complete, it is imperative the Bureau must not only look into the accusations made by Dr. Ford, Deborah Ramirez, and Julie Swetnick, it should also examine the veracity of his testimony before the Judiciary Committee, Sanders wrote in the letter. Sanders, who tweeted the letter Saturday morning, wrote on Twitter, quote, lying to Congress is a federal crime. Kavanaugh's truthfulness with the Senate goes to the very heart of whether he should be confirmed to the court. A fundamental question the FBI can help answer is whether Judge Kavanaugh has been truthful with the committee. This goes to the very heart of whether he should be confirmed to the court. So Sanders also said the FBI investigation should not be constrained to 1 week, as has been agreed to by multiple Republican senators. Quote, if you are concerned with the delay in this confirmation process, remember that Senate Republicans refused to allow the Senate to consider Merrick Garland's nomination to the Supreme Court for nearly a year. So obviously Bernie Sanders is 100% right on the point of Merrick Garland, but he brings up something super interesting. He essentially what he's saying is because lying under oath to Congress is an actual crime. That is illegal. When you take oath and you speak to Congress, you are mandated to tell the truth by penalty of law. You are swearing under oath. So we know that he's a fucking liar because, as we see, there's a corroboration of people at Yale who were his classmates who have said that he was a massive drunk. He wasn't someone who had a weak stomach. He wasn't someone who was an average or, non-frequent but rare drinker. And you could tell because every time the sort of question came up, he got vastly defensive, whether it be asking Amy Klobuchar if she's ever blacked out drunk. Like, on what planet is that like an appropriate thing to do when you're giving your sworn testimony? And it's fucking insane. And he would always pivot to, I did real well in college. Like, people do well in college and they party like crazy. You know what I mean? So that doesn't defend you in anything. And there's nothing wrong with partying either. What we're talking about is you're lying under oath, and then that leads us to believe that yes, indeed, you did do what the fuck you did because, as one of the people who came forward from who's one of his Yale classmates said, I'm sure that there were days where he got so drunk that he did not remember what he did the previous night. And he said that also, one of them also said that he had gone into a room in which a man and a woman were fucking and, thought it was really funny. And so this is a complete shit show. And I think Bernie's onto something here because this is something totally different. Funny enough, and there's nothing funny about this, by the way, I want to make that clear. But there is multiple layers to this. Did Kavanaugh do these things? B, it is, did he lie under oath, committing a felony? C, is he fit to serve as a judge on the Supreme Court law of the land? And D, is he fit to be a judge where he is right now? Because he is a judge. I think he definitely is unfit to be a Supreme Court justice. He's definitely unfit to be a judge on the Supreme Court law of the, supreme law of the land. It determines the, law of the land. It's insane to think that he is. He's an extremely, defensive, combative, immature douchebag who has the maturity of a 5-year-old. He's essentially a boy in a man's body. And that is essentially what it is. But I totally agree with Bernie here. They should totally do that. I think that it would be absolutely beneficial to the concept of truth, to the concept of honesty and true understanding of what information we have, and more information, most importantly, for congressional members to vote whether or not they want to confirm this bastard.